সোনার বাংলা আমি তোমায় ভালোবাসি চিরদিন তোমার আকাশ চিরদিন তোমার আকাশ তোমার বাতাস আমার প্রাণে ও মায় আমার প্রাণে বাজায় বাঁশি সোনার বাংলা আমি তোমায় ভালোবাসি।
Honorable State Minister for Cultural Affairs, His Excellency Mr. K.M. Khalid MP, respected Foreign Secretary, His Excellency Ambassador Masood bin Momen, Bangladesh High Commissioner, His Excellency Mr. Mohammad Sufiur Rahman, Australian High Commissioner to Bangladesh, His Excellency Mr. Jeremy Brewer, colleagues from DFAT, dear members of the Bangladesh community, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Today marks the end of the 3-day-long celebration to mark our Golden Jubilee of Independence. We are extremely pleased that our celebration is ending with such an impactful event that will leave a permanent testimony of our democratic ethos and aspirations for peace and prosperity. I welcome you all to the formal inauguration of miniature Bangladesh Jatiyo Samsad Bhavan at Cockington Green Gardens. At the outset, I recall with great gratitude our father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, under whose undisputed leadership we have earned our independence and our journey towards democracy, peace and development began in an independent Bangladesh. Distinguished guests, reflecting the long history of the region, Bangladesh has a culture that encompasses elements both old and new. Our deep-rooted heritage is amply reflected in our architecture, literature, dance, drama, music and painting. There have been always efforts from our Bangladesh diaspora in Australia to seek to reflect our rich culture and history in this multicultural country. From that inspiration, supported by other Bangladesh community members, Mr. Shamsuddin Shofi Biplab in 2017 took lead in the coordination to get agreement of Bangladesh authorities to establish an iconic structure of Bangladesh at this Cockington Green Gardens in its international segment. Cockington Green Gardens is one of the popular touristic spots which is visited by more than 40,000 visitors from all over Australia and abroad every year. Following the positive response from the Ministry of Cultural Affairs, the High Commission took upon itself the responsibility to pursue the proposal and build a permanent replica of one of our national iconic structures in Canberra. After a few initial decisions to establish the National Mausoleum first and then the Lalbagh Fort, finally the Ministry of Cultural Affairs in early 2018 decided on having the replica of our National Parliament building, the most iconic modern architecture revered not only in Bangladesh but also in the world. We acknowledge the overwhelming support we received from the Ministry of Cultural Affairs in the project, including sanctioning the entire amount of the cost of construction. The High Commission signed a contract for the model construction with the Cockington Green Gardens in September 2018. We also thank Cockington Green Gardens, especially Mr. Mark Sarah and his wife Miss Devi, for being so cooperative and finishing the project well ahead of time by June 2019. The entire project was personally supervised by the High Commissioner, His Excellency Mohammad Sufiur Rahman, who guided us in every step and had visited a couple of times the site with great passion. With all the determination and hard work, the replica was ready since June 2019. The High Commission made a few attempts to inaugurate the replica in physical presence of the Honorable State Minister for Cultural Affairs. However, due to COVID-19 pandemic, we could not arrange it in last year. Therefore, we have taken the opportunity of the new normal scenario in COVID and have planned this inauguration ceremony in the virtual presence of the dignitaries. distinguished participants. Now, we would like to display a short video on Cockington Green Gardens and our National Parliament building to set the context. 2 short videos. Thank you. Now I'd like to request Mr. Mark Sarah, the manager of Cockington Green Gardens, to share his thoughts. Mr. Mark Sarah.
Ministers and Excellencies, thank you for attending today. It's a wonderful occasion to inaugurate a new building into our international family, and the fact that this one's taken a little bit of time to get through over the last couple of years has probably been pretty well testament for the last 12 months that a lot of us have had. It's always a pleasure to start working on a new building because it means that we begin a relationship with a new country, and Bangladesh is a wonderful country, and we've actually loved the connection that we've made with the High Commissioner and the team at the High Commission in the time that we've been working on this building. The process we normally go through with a building that's selected for the gardens at Cockington Green is normally the country comes to us as this time, and we select a building. And sometimes that's a difficult process because there's sometimes religious grounds, there's cultural grounds, there's a lot of different things that would drive people to select a particular building. And we try to reflect the culture through the architecture in every building that we build. Occasionally we've had some countries want to build a skyscraper which doesn't really reflect. It reflects a modern country, but it doesn't reflect the culture that we want to portray. And sometimes we have a lot of churches in them because the culture of the country is very heavily reliant on the religion of the country, and we spend a lot of time working with each particular country on which building they would like. When it came to Bangladesh, this is not the first political building that we have in our display, but it certainly is the most grand. It's quite an amazing building to see such a structure within water, and with its magnificent geometric patterns and designs. And it was actually quite a challenge to build when you consider the absolute monumental size of such a building. The model makers looked at it, and we started measuring things and we started doing plans, and fortunately Bangladesh is one of the rare countries that we actually had plans, the full set of plans for us to be able to build our building, which is really helpful for us to get things right. And when we started measuring the plans, the nuances that the architect built into the building was really fascinating. You could actually see things weren't exactly square, or they weren't exactly in locations that we would have imagined it as you would a normal building. There's slight angles and the nuances, and there's this particular way that the architect has built this building that actually makes it quite an unusual building in that it has four faces, but four completely different faces facing towards different directions, and that makes it quite a challenging building to build, because you've got to connect all those faces together to make that one project. So it's been incredibly pleasant, it's been incredibly wonderful to work with the Bangladesh community, with Shafi driving us all to make sure that we get the project done, with the High Commissioner making himself available and working in close cooperation with our model makers and ourselves. It's been an incredible experience, and one that it's really satisfying, and it's wonderful. You know, I always look at building a building like reading a good book. You spend a lot of time on the journey of reading the book, and there's always that little bit of disappointment when you finish it, because the story is what you're looking for. And when we build a model, we spend a lot of time looking at photographs. We might as well be in Bangladesh. We spend so much time looking at the photographs and the little bits and pieces and nuances of the building. And then we get to the end and it's built. That's kind of the story's over. This is the last phase, this is the last chapter. And I'm glad that we had the chance to read this story with everybody from Bangladesh and the people collected in this room. And we thank the Ministry for financing the building, and we thank the High Commissioner for his passion and drive the Guide project going. So thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Now we will hear from Mr. Samshuddin Shafi Biplab. I request Mr. Shafi to make his remarks.
Honorable Minister of Cultural Affairs, Bangladesh, His Excellency Kem Khalid, Foreign Secretary Ambassador Masood bin Momen, Australian High Commissioner to Bangladesh, His Excellency Jeremy Brewer, His Excellency Muhammad Sufia Rahman, Bangladesh High Commissioner to Australia, New Zealand and Fiji, my friend Mark, and Debbie, I think I saw her, of Cockington Green Gardens, distinguished ladies and gentlemen of the community, a very good evening to you all. I'd like to start by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we meet today and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. Ladies and gentlemen, for the last couple of days, we have been celebrating Bangladesh's 50th anniversary of independence. Firstly, I would like to pay my humble respect to all the freedom fighters of our glorious liberation war of 1971, dead, alive, and wounded, who sacrificed their present for our freedom, which we are enjoying now. Bangladesh High Commission in Australia has organized a series of events over the last few days to mark this milestone. I had the opportunity to attend a few, and each of those events were unique and of the highest standard. I really thank them for all their hard work. Thank you, guys. And I would also like to thank the Bangladesh High Commission for inviting me today to say a few words on this grand inaugural ceremony of the miniature structure of Bangladesh Parliament building at Cockington Green Gardens. This couldn't have happened at a better time when we are celebrating the 50th anniversary of Bangladesh. A very good time. Ladies and gentlemen, I migrated to Australia in 2007. And from the very beginning living in Canberra. I'm thankful to the community for accepting me, and proudly I now call it home, away from my birthplace. In all these years, I had the opportunity to visit Cockington Green Gardens along with family and friends from interstate and overseas. It always amazed us, and my kids, they loved it. They're a bit grown up now, they don't like it anymore. We enjoyed the different displays, and what actually made me sad was there were 31 structures from different countries, but not a single one from Bangladesh. That always made me sad. So from this thought, we discussed the matter, like we have an organization, a charity based in Australia, a not-for-profit one, which is named Let's Work for Bangladesh, and our mission is to work or promote Bangladesh in any shape or form. So I discussed this amongst my committee members, and they all agreed that if we can build something at the Cockington Green Gardens to represent Bangladesh, that would truly fit in within our mission statement. So after that, as a president of the organization, I wrote a letter to the Cultural Affairs Ministry in Bangladesh asking to build an iconic miniature building at Cockington Green Gardens to promote and represent Bangladesh. In my letter, I mentioned a brief history of the garden, which is also an iconic Canberra attraction, and also about the Bangladeshi community living in Canberra and its surroundings, which is increasing every year due to migration and study. Building an iconic structure at Cockington Green will truly promote Bangladesh and its heritage to the broader Australian community and make a mark. I was really surprised, to tell the truth, that after a few weeks I received a response from the ministry showing genuine interest with my proposal and asked me to liaise with the Bangladesh High Commission in Canberra and send a report through them. And all this was happening, and in 2018 I had the opportunity of visiting Bangladesh, and I was lucky enough to have an appointment with the cultural minister, the then cultural minister, Mr. Asad Zaman Noor. And during the meeting, we discussed a lot what can be built and all this. And coming back from Bangladesh, by that time, His Excellency Mr. Sufi Rahman, he arrived to Australia, and being a civil engineer himself, he guided us what can be done and what can't. It was a great help. Thank you very much for that. And also, this structure which we are inaugurating today, this is a really proud moment for all of us Bangladeshis residing in Canberra. We can proudly say now, we have a piece of Bangladesh here in Canberra. And during the whole process, I was truly blessed actually and honored to get the overwhelming support from everyone. Just a few names to mention. Mr. Asad Zaman Noor, MP, the ex-cultural minister of Bangladesh, His Excellency Muhammad Sufi Rahman, High Commissioner of Bangladesh to Australia, New Zealand and Fiji, Ms. Farida Yasmin, who was the ex-First Secretary. At the moment, I believe she is based in Bangladesh. It was a great help from her. Mark Sarah and Debbie Sarah. I know I've annoyed you guys a lot. Ms. Suraya Akhtar Jahan, who was the Deputy Secretary, Ministry of Science and Technology in Bangladesh. At that time, she was based with the Culture Ministry. Ikra Mohammed, ex-chairman Bangladesh Public Service Commission. Actually, his daughter-in-law and his son, Asif and Zafrin, they're here. Zafrin is the secretary of our organization, Let's Vote for Bangladesh, and Asif is a big supporter of us. Thanks, guys. I'd also like to thank my friend and colleague, Mr. Utpala Kulasiri, who's over there. He worked and dedicated a few hours over the weekend to set up this network, and so that we could connect with Bangladesh via Zoom for this inauguration. All the members of our organization, Let's Work for Bangladesh, and last but not least, every single person of the Bangladesh community living in Canberra. Without your active support, this could have never happened, guys. Thank you very, very much. Ladies and gentlemen, someone once called Bangladesh a bottomless basket. In the last 50 years, with the visionary and strategic leadership of our government, we have not only filled the basket, rather it's overflowing now. Result you can see in front of your eyes. We built this miniature structure with our own money to proudly represent Bangladesh to the thousands of tourists who will be visiting this garden every year. Bangladesh High Commission, over the last few days, when they were having different events, they had a flyer. I can't see it today, but that flyer tells a true story with all the stats, how far we have come. If you haven't got it, please ask the High Commission for that. Have a look. I won't bore you with that, but that will truly make every one of you proud, what we have achieved. Sometimes we just don't see what we have done. Ladies and gentlemen, Bangladesh has a very rich musical heritage, since music has always played an important role in the lives of the people of here. I'd like to finish my speech by quoting a few lines from one of our famous patriotic songs composed by Nazrul Islam Babu, which is Ekti Bangladesh Tumi Jagroto Janotar Shara Bishwer Bishoy Tumi Amar Ahonkar. The translation for my Australian friends would be somewhat like this: Bangladesh, a land of unstoppable people, you are my pride and wonder to everyone on this planet. Thank you all.
Thank you, Biplab Shafi Bhai. I must say here that at times of uncertainties, indecisions, High Commissioner Sir made personal contacts to keep the idea floated and the project on. Now, I would like to call upon Bangladesh High Commissioner to Australia, His Excellency Mr. Muhammad Sufiur Rahman, to make his remarks. Sir.
Honorable Minister for Cultural Affairs, His Excellency K.M. Khalid, Member of Parliament, respected Foreign Secretary Masood bin Momen, His Excellency Jeremy Bawa, Mr. Mark Sara and Devi Sara, Shamsuddin Safi Biplab and colleagues from the Bangladesh community, and I also see the presence of members of the DFAT here amidst us this evening. Good evening, good afternoon, wherever we are in Bangladesh or in Australia. Like preceding speakers, let me also begin by paying my tribute to the father of the nation, the architect of Bangladesh, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, whose 101st birth anniversary we are celebrating. I also pay homage to the millions of martyrs and freedom fighters and others who contributed in the creation of Bangladesh in this month of March. Before proceeding further, it will be proper for me to recognize the traditional owners of the land on which we are meeting this evening, and I pay my respect to their elders, past, present, and emerging. We are happy that a landmark of our national pride is going to be launched this evening after a few minutes, though after considerable delay. I understand the Bangladesh community in Canberra, you have heard from Mr. Biplab Shafi, has been keen to see a landmark at the Cockington Green Gardens. While many souls were behind this conception, we by now know the personal and the contribution and sacrifices of a few souls, in particular Mr. Shamsuddin Safi, who took lead in contacting authorities back in Dhaka, and thereafter we have the ball will start rolling. By September 2017, in principle agreement was received, and in January 2018, the Ministry of Cultural Affairs decided to see a replica of Lal Bagh Fort of the Mughal era of Dhaka over National Mausoleum in Sabha. So there are two ideas beforehand. Given some coordination and mandate-related difficulties, this is very normal in Bangladesh. The Ministry of Culture has finally settled for this national parliament, and it happened in May 2018. From then on, the responsibility of coordination as well as the responsibility to bring things to fruition fell on the High Commission. We are happy that we have been able to take it to the level within a very short period with the support of Mark Serra of the Cockington Gardens. And then finally we got the budget from the ministry in August 2018. Thereafter, in a very short period, we succeeded in delivering this project. Although the timeline initially thought was 2 years, and it was finished within 9 or 10 months. As we reminisce about the project, I personally know about the contribution of the former chairman of the Public Service Commission, Ikram Ahmed, who worked from behind to overcome bureaucratic difficulties in Bangladesh. Former Minister for Cultural Affairs, as we have heard, has been an inspiration for this project. We pay respect to him also. It is fitting to show our gratefulness to all these good souls for their support and contribution. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, architect Mazharul Islam, the father of modern architecture in Bangladesh, was tasked with the design of the second capital complex of the then Pakistan in Dhaka. At the heart of this was to be the national parliament. He, however, involved his classmate at Yale, Stanley Tigerman, and then onward his own teacher at Yale, Paul Rudolph. Finally, they all got together and brought in the famous Louis Kahn into this. These three of them came to be known as the American Trio. Together, they created the most important architectural monument in Bangladesh, the National Parliament. According to Robert McCarter, author of the book Louis Kahn, I quote, "It is one of the 20th century's greatest architectural monument, and it is without any question Kahn's magnum opus, the greatest creation of this famous architect." We are proud that this monument is now open for viewing in Canberra, courtesy Cockington Green Gardens. Mark Serra and Debbie Serra merit special thanks for this. And this is going to be placed, as we will see right after this, in the segment for international exhibits, landmarks there. Although it will all be in miniature and in replica. I hope visitors to the garden would appreciate the grandeur of this impressive landmark of Bangladesh. Persons of Bangladesh origin, particularly our children, would be proud to see the first such replica of this important landmark outside Bangladesh. As Bangladesh is seeking to consolidate democracy, this particular replica of our Jatiya Samsad building will assume an elevated status, I am confident. With this expectation, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, Bangladesh attaches special importance to its relations with Australia, as it is one of the first developed nations to recognize Bangladesh after its independence in 1971. Our bilateral relations are based on shared values, principles and ideals of democracy and development. Over the years, there has been a significant increase in cooperation in various fields between our two friendly countries. We are gratified that Australian High Commissioner to Bangladesh is virtually connected with us. Now, I'd like to request His Excellency Mr. Jeremy Brewer to share his thoughts. Excellency.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon, everybody. And I acknowledge the presence here today of the Honourable Minister, His Excellency the Foreign Secretary, His Excellency my colleague, the Bangladesh High Commissioner in Canberra, and senior colleagues both here in Dhaka and also in Canberra. First, may I offer congratulations to Bangladesh on the 50th anniversary of independence and the significant achievements that Bangladesh has attained over 5 decades of independence provide a strong foundation of peace and prosperity in our region. and they're a testament to the far-sighted vision of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, whose 101st anniversary of his birth we celebrated only recently, to build a gold in Bangladesh. And the presence of so many distinguished guests this morning is evident that that is a vision that is shared in both of our countries. Australia and Bangladesh are very good friends, and I've been struck since my time here about by the depth of the relationship and by the many strands that are involved in it. And I have apologies, the technological gremlins seem to be not in our favour today, but anyway, I shall continue. I was delighted to be able to make a call on Prime Minister Hasina recently, and during that meeting, I highlighted the potential that we have for different trade and investment relations. We spoke, the Honourable Prime Minister and I, of our strong people-to-people links. And she mentioned fondly the visit that Prime Minister Gough Whitlam had made to Bangladesh in 1975 with his daughter, and her visit to Australia in 1999 when she and our then Prime Minister John Howard discussed their shared love of cricket. That's a love that I share, and in keeping with that theme, I was delighted to be able to present her with a cricket bat that's signed by the 2006 touring Australian team, the first team to have visited Bangladesh from Australia, and that was an historic occasion for anybody who follows cricket. And it was signed by a number of our greatest players, like Ponting and Shane Warne. So it was great to be able to do that. And I think that although that's, sport is not everything, I think that it's a symbol of the links that exist between our two countries and a symbol of some of the things that we have in common. Bangladesh is a young, dynamic country, but like Australia, it's built on very old, venerable and deep cultural traditions. And we believe that it has a very bright future and a great deal to be proud of. I hope that we can continue to build on the strength of our relationship and find real and tangible ways to take it forward. And as I said, and I hope that technological limitations that we face didn't prevent you from hearing this, I think there is great potential for further development of our relationship in a range of areas, from trade and investment through to cooperation on shared interests in the Indian Ocean and a whole range of other cultural interests too. Can I say in closing, as the son and grandson of architects, that the National Parliament building here in Dhaka is something that is really a sight to behold. It is a magnificent piece of architecture, a magnificent piece of engineering, and a beautiful cultural artefact that anybody from Bangladesh should feel proud of, and that anybody visiting Dhaka should see. And I feel delighted that a facsimile of it, a smaller one no doubt, but nonetheless, from what I gather, a very faithful one, will be available to people in Australia to see in a very beloved location in Canberra, where some of our guests are sitting today. And I look forward to being able to visit it myself when I'm back in Canberra. So can I congratulate everybody on the initiative? I think it's a wonderful initiative. Can I congratulate everybody on the event that is underway today? Can I wish Bangladesh and its people and its government and all my colleagues and friends from Bangladesh another 50 years, indeed many, many 50 years of success and development. And I hope that Australia and Bangladesh will be able to move together into that future brightly and with a great deal of shared ambition and hope. So can I once again say thank you and best wishes to everybody today. Thank you.
Thank you, Excellency. I would like to request now respected Foreign Secretary of Bangladesh, His Excellency Ambassador Masood bin Momen, to make his remarks. I'm told that he is participating in this event while attending another very important meeting outside his office. Respected Foreign Secretary, sir.
Thank you, Honorable State Minister, Mr. K.M. Khalid, MP, Excellencies, the High Commissioners of Bangladesh and Australia, Mr. Mark Sarah and Ms. Debbie, Mr. Shafi and the distinguished members from our diaspora, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon or good evening from Bangladesh. Inaugurating a replica of the National Parliament building of Bangladesh during such an auspicious occasion of the 50th anniversary of independence of Bangladesh, as well as the ongoing Mujib year, is of great significance. I understand Bangladesh High Commission in Canberra, our consulate in Sydney, and our diaspora in Australia have undertaken many programs and activities to celebrate these auspicious occasions. Flags have been hoisted at Canberra, Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, Hobart, and other major cities. Bridge has been illuminated in red and green. I'm happy to be part of such celebrations in Australia from a distance through this event. Australia extended its bipartisan support to Bangladesh since its early days of independence, and the bilateral relations have witnessed deepening cooperation over the years. We had a successful consultation between our two foreign ministries just a few days ago. Australian High Commissioner to Bangladesh, His Excellency Mr. Jeremy Burr, and our High Commissioner, His Excellency Mr. Sufi Rahman, and their teams are covering newer grounds for fostering our friendship. The National Parliament building of Bangladesh, designed by the world-renowned architect Louis Kahn, is an example of extraordinary architectural design of modern times. It bears the symbol of democratic values and free-spirited aspirations of the people of Bangladesh, so ably led by the Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. The replica is expected to spread this message loudly to the visitors of the gardens. It will further promote people-to-people contacts between two countries and open a window for Australians for knowing and understanding Bangladesh's true potentials. Cockington Green Gardens is, I'm told, a very familiar name to the tourists coming to visit Canberra, and I understand children are the most frequent visitors there. Thus, exploring this newest edition, our replica of the National Parliament, the new generation in Australia will get the opportunity to know about the culture and heritage of Bangladesh. Children of our diaspora will get reconnected to the origins of their parents and the glorious ancestry. It can certainly create a new bonding for them. It will also be a matter of great pride for Bangladesh community living in Australia. This miniature, I'm confident, will reach beyond Bangladeshi community and represent the new narrative of a confident Bangladesh, vibrant Bangladesh, among Australians and tourists from other countries. My sincere thanks to Mr. Mark Sarah from Cockington Green Gardens, Bangladesh High Commission in Canberra, and the vibrant community leaders for taking this initiative and oversee its implementation. Stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we are extremely happy to note that Honorable State Minister for Cultural Affairs is virtually connected with us at today's event. We are also told that he too is attending another program. We applaud your care for the event, sir, we are organizing. May I have the honor to request our special guest, Honorable State Minister for Cultural Affairs, His Excellency Mr. K.M. Khalid MP, to make his remarks. Honorable State Minister, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Mr. Masood bin Momen, Secretary, Minister of Foreign Affairs, His Excellency Mr. Muhammad Sufi Rahman, High Commissioner of Bangladesh to Australia, Mr. Jeremy Burr, Mr. Mark Sarah, Mr. Shafi, distinguished guests, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great pleasure to be virtually connected to the inauguration ceremony of a miniature of National Parliament of Bangladesh, that is General Session. I am deeply touched at the establishment of the miniature of National Parliament building in Cockington, Green Garden, one of the best tourist attractions in Canberra. I thank Mr. Mark Shah for his enthusiasm to include a landmark from Bangladesh, our parliament, the symbol of our practice of democracy. In the Cockington Green Garden, I sincerely thank Bangladesh High Commission in Canberra for implementing such a noble initiative for promoting culture of Bangladesh abroad. আজকের এই আলোচনা সভার শুরুতে আমি জাতির পিতার প্রতি শ্রদ্ধা জানাই, বঙ্গমাতা বেগম ফজিলাতুন্নেছা মুজিব সহ সকল শহীদদের শ্রদ্ধা জানাই। অস্ট্রেলিয়ার বুকে আজকে একখণ্ড বাংলাদেশ প্রতিষ্ঠিত হতে যাচ্ছে। ককিংটন গ্রিন গার্ডেন্স অস্ট্রেলিয়ার রাজধানী ক্যানবেরায় অন্যতম একটি পর্যটন আকর্ষণ। এই গার্ডেন অস্ট্রেলিয়ান ট্যুরিজম অ্যাওয়ার্ড এবং অনেক স্থানীয় পর্যটন শিল্প পুরস্কারের বিজয়ী এই বাগান 1979 থেকে জনসাধারণ উন্মুক্ত করা হয়। প্রতি বছর প্রায় 40,000 ভিজিটর এখানে ভিজিট করে। সারা ব্রেন্ডা পরিবারের হাত ধরে যাত্রা শুরু হয়। বর্তমানে তাদের সুযোগবদ্ধ মার্গ এর হাল ধরেছে। এই বাগানের মূল আকর্ষণ সূক্ষ্মভাবে কারুকৃত ক্ষুদ্র ভবন, আকর্ষণীয় প্রদর্শন, ক্ষুদ্র বাষ্পট্রেনের যাত্রা, গোলাপঘর ইত্যাদি। এবং এই জায়গাটিতে আমাদের গর্বের যে জায়গা, গণতন্ত্রের যে সূতিকা গাছ, সেই পার্লামেন্ট ভবন সেখানে স্থাপন করা হয়েছে এবং সেটি একটি জায়গা করে নিয়েছে। সেই জন্য আমি সবার প্রতি কৃতজ্ঞতা জানাচ্ছি যারা সে সম্পৃক্ত করছেন। Actually, it's a big journey. Luiken, one of the greatest architects in the world, Luiken's who designed Luiken's design this Parliament, National Parliament building of Bangladesh, is an extraordinary example of modern architecture. The landmark building, completed in 1982, stands as one of Cannes' most prominent ones, became pride for the people of Bangladesh. It is one of the 20th century's greatest architectural monuments and received the Aga Khan Award for Architecture in 1989. In this great journey as a nation, Bangladesh, under the wise and dynamic leadership of Prime Minister Her Excellency Sheikh Hasina, will continue to follow Bangabandhu's footsteps, zealous for secure development in an ambience of peace and stability. We aspire to rise as a developed country by 2041 and thus build Golden Bangladesh as dreamed by the father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. With these few words, I declare the official inauguration of the miniature of Bangladesh National Parliament in the Cockington Green Gardens, Canberra, Australia. Thank you all. Join.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Honorable Minister, sir. We would appreciate if you just stay a little bit longer with us, sir. Now we would go outside and do the physical inauguration. As you declared, Honorable High Commissioner, sir, will do the inauguration on your behalf, sir. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's proceed outside where the replica is placed already for the inauguration.
I am extremely excited
like all of you, and proud. And I made my tributes both in Bangla and English, but I'll definitely read the Bangla version. তোমাকে কুর্নিশ বাংলাদেশ। আজ বাংলাদেশ দাঁড়ায় সগৌরবে প্রশান্ত মহাসাগরের তীরে উন্নত শিরে। আজ দেখি সংসদ সৌধ প্রতিকৃতি এক, নাম যার বাংলাদেশ, চেয়ে থাকি নির্নিমেষ। আজ দেখি রক্তে অশ্রুতে কেনা অপরাজেয় এক দেশ, বিশ্বপটে গর্বিত বাংলাদেশ। দেখি অজস্র বাধার দেয়াল ভেঙে আজ ধাবমান এক দেশ, সে যে বঙ্গবন্ধুর বাংলাদেশ। অর্ধশতকের বন্ধুর কণ্টকিত পথ চলায় সূর্য বীর্য তপু অহুরান অনিঃশেষ, সে যে বিস্ময়ের বাংলাদেশ। নতুন দিগন্তে পদচিহ্ন রেখে হাসে লাল সবুজের এক দেশ, বঙ্গবন্ধু কন্যার প্রিয় বাংলাদেশ। হিমালয় সমজাগে আজ বঙ্গবন্ধু বাংলাদেশ, মাথায় উজ্জ্বল উষ্ণীষ, তোমাদের জানাই সশ্রদ্ধ কুর্নিশ। ধন্যবাদ।
Thank you, Kushal.
No. Property to actually. You can say a few words after the come. Why do you